I'm going to now explain how to use the left hand in a slide instrument like the Chitravina. As we can all see, the Chitravina doesn't have any frets like the veena, guitar or the sitar. Nor is it played by pressing your finger against the fingerboard like the sarod or the violin. So the slide is the key to producing moving notes in this instrument. So what do we do? First step is to obviously learn to hold the slide properly so that the music is produced comfortably as well as melodiously. This slide that I'm using is now made of Teflon because it's considered to be among the materials with the least friction against the string when you are sliding it. But traditionally people are using bison horn or sometimes ebony and other types of wood. My family, starting with my grandfather, the legendary Gotuadim Narayanengar, as well as my father Chitravina Narasimhan, who is also my guru, experimented intensively on the materials that could be used for a slide. I continued those experiments and in conversations with some scientists came up with Teflon, and this has been in vogue for the last 25 years or so, from 1980s, late 80s or so. So the manner of holding this will be using these three fingers parallel to the slide, and these two fingers will be just support when we are actually playing the instrument. They are supposed to damp any unwanted vibration from the other side of the instrument, otherwise you'll get vibration from both sides. So you have to damp this side vibration. We only need this end of the vibration for us to get a clear tone. So first step is to just be able to hold the Teflon or the slide of whatever material using these three fingers, resting firmly against your palm. Hold it like this, be comfortable, relaxed but not too loose, and then we actually start even trying to place it on the instrument. Hold it for some time, feel the comfort of it, and then only try to place it, otherwise you may drop it on the instrument and there could be other kinds of accidents. So the open string is the sa or the tonic note, and once we are holding this is going to be open. When we play sa, it's not going to be on the instrument, and then when we start playing the other notes, only this really comes into play on the main string. Then we have to try to keep it perpendicular to the strings and preferably touching all the strings. So we can see that the length of the span of all the 6 strings in Chitravina in sets of 3, 2 and 1 is not more than a couple of inches or so. The Teflon typically would be at least 3 to 4 inches, if not more, and it can easily cover the entire span of the strings. So we have to make sure that it is not just on any one string, or it's in no particular angle other than straight, resting comfortably on all the strings together. And then if it's resting on all the strings, a lot of people ask me, how do I only hear sound from one string when the Teflon is actually sliding across all the strings? The key, of course, is what we pluck is what actually produces the sound. The right hand is the one which produces the sound, so when we pluck this string, we get this note. If we pluck the next set of strings, we'll get da. Then again back to the bass, we'll get re. So like that, what we pluck is what really gives the sound. So best to keep the Teflon at the beginning levels at least exactly perpendicular to the strings and have a smooth flow, and the position and posture of sitting comes into play now. We have to be fairly centered with respect to the instrument, and then we should be able to have a free swing and movement of the hand, the arm, the elbow, shoulders, everything should be able to move freely. So we should have total freedom when we are moving. We shouldn't be too close and very cramped, or too far and stretching ourselves either. So let's see now. Holding this comfortably, make sure that the thumb doesn't touch the string in front of the Teflon. It's a common sense point, but often overlooked. And then make sure that we are not pressing hard against the string. That's one advantage of the Chitravina. We do not really press hard against the strings at all at any time. All we do is just keep it in a comfortable position. Make sure that it is slightly firm. So we should get this good tone. It should not be too loose because it will result in a buzz. So if something like that is happening, make sure that the Teflon is contacting clearly with the strings. So in that case, we should just possibly increase the pressure very slightly till we get a good tone. The key is always a good tone and good pitch. I'm just playing plain notes. Sometimes I even fold the thumb back if I want it to be totally non-intrusive to the sound production. But we can still keep it like this and do it. So important to first play all the notes plain and get a good tone in that, and then only try oscillated notes or gliding notes and all that. So each note, play a few times till we get comfortable with it. In other words, every note should be as comfortable as the sa. The sa is the most comfortable because we are not doing anything with the left hand. But we should try and gain the same level of comfort with the left hand. So the key obviously is patience. Patience, patience, patience with respect to every note that we play. We should not rush, especially in the fundamentals, because if we rush in the fundamentals, we'll actually not be saving time but losing few years. So I'm now plugging all the 3 strings in the first set. If I just plug only 2 strings, it will be like that. Like this. So initially we don't have to play with the thala. That can come much later. First get a good tone, comfortable levels of music production, and then go towards exercises. Initially we can just play some of these plain notes like this, and then just play maybe small combination of notes like 2-note combinations, 3-note combinations, like kind of things, or kind of things. And then the other important thing, at different speeds. And now here is where the damping has to come in, otherwise you will have a gelatinous tone like kind of tone. So what we do is first pluck the note. Just before the left hand moves, damp it. Leave it open for as long as we need the musical tone. Just before it moves, damp it, move fast, and then plug the next note. So like this. Don't damp it too early. You should not do that either. Like that. So that's again very important to first try out in slow speed so that we get total control of when this ring finger comes into play. And then the other thing that we need to learn is oscillation. Oscillation is a very different subject, a very involved subject, so I'll come to that in a separate session.